Beautiful pictures coming to you live from Vatican City. They are just historic moments for the more than 50,000 people, according to Vatican City Police, people that have thronged and continue to throng the St. Peter's Square at the St. Peter's Basilica there, of course, waiting to hear from their new Pope. More than 1.4 billion Catholics around the world are beaming with happiness right now after, of course, the first address by Pope Leo XIV. That is, of course, American Cardinal, 69-year-old Robert Prevost, who has been named the 267th Pope, the head of the Roman Catholic Church, the new Bishop of Rome. And of course, we'll continue to hear reactions from around the world. And here in Kenya, we are following things, and other Catholic faithfuls like myself are following happenings in Rome, following the announcement, the election of Pope Leo XIV. I'm joined on phone by the Archbishop Martin Kivuva, Musonda of the Archdiocese of Mombasa. Thank you, Askofu, for joining us on NTV tonight.
Having me, Ben Kitili, I'm so happy. I watched it as they called it, and I'm also happy that it's a man I met just recently in Rome when we were at the Synod meetings. It's a joy for the Catholic Church. It's a joy for the whole world. We've been waiting, and we thank God it didn't take very long. And it's said to be one of the also fastest elections we've had in many years, too. As a Catholic and as an Archbishop Mombasa, first of all, to congratulate him and congratulate all the cardinals for a work well done. At the same time, happy that we are able to continue on the work of Francis. According to he was part of that synod of synodality, which we had for 3 years, 2021, 2022, 2023. We were there, 23 and 24, in the synod meeting. Monks sitting the round tables, discussing the future of the church. I'm so happy that this is taking place. Na pia kama wa Kenya, we are happy that he comes out very clear that he's a man of peace, he's a man to reach out to other places, he's a man who wants everyone to be part of the church, and to thank God for great work the church, the 1.1 billion people are involved in, many of them between those who work in the church, those who are priests, and those who are religious men and women. So ni furaha kubwa kwetu Kenya, na kama askofu mkuu na pia moja baraza la maaskofu Kenya, na najisikia kuona ameteuliwa. Mungu atubariki na abariki kazi ya mikono yake anapoanza.
Askofu, asante. Now, he has been in the very few moments that he has been elected Pope, has been compared to his predecessor, the late Pope Francis, in that he's a missionary, he's a member of an order, the Order of St. Augustine. But before we get to that, something you mentioned, his first words as Pope were, "Peace be to all of you," and he said that quite a number of times. What do you make of that message?
Well, I can see the connection between him and Pope Francis, where the Pope Francis thrust in his mission was about peace and justice, bringing harmony among communities, stopping wars, encouraging people never to go to war, and also calling every one of us to be agents of peace wherever we find ourselves. In fact, Pope Francis, before he left us a jubilee of pilgrims of hope, kuwapa watu matumaini. It seems like he is echoing his predecessor, according to me.
And still on the same note, there are many people who see Pope Leo as someone who can, bring people together, bridge more than two worlds, and continue Pope Francis' legacy of reaching out to those on the margins. That includes, of course, a wider spectrum of those that maybe Pope Francis was sometimes seen to be at loggerheads with. Do you agree with this view?
I think Pope Francis was just playing his particular role. He used his charm and his persuasive words. He also went out of his way to travel to those places. Many are places where war was ravaging. Sudan, I can think of our neighbors here. He's out there in Gaza and trying to reach out in words, in prayer, in calling people to come to stop the war. At least stop. Let's put down our weapons of war to give life a chance, because everything else is war, is death and more death. And that is part of what you can almost engage. You can see that right there. He was a key cardinal also in that synod of synodality when he followed the bishop.
And I'm sure he has a lot on his in tray as the head of the Roman Catholic Church as he takes over. What would you say, Askofu, is what does the Church, the Roman Catholic Church, need right now?
Well, the Catholic Church already has a following, and a big following. The Catholic Church is always an international or universal church. It starts from the grassroots to a top high rank, what you consider hierarchy. But even then, it's a church that needs all the time being reminded, and we keep reminding ourselves we have the different continents. Sometimes there are different aspects of being church, but it needs a unifying factor. I mean, the Pope is that unifying factor or person. He calls the shots, and he even invites us to be part of the dialoguing. It is not just a command from top. The synod process we went through just recently of synod of synodality was calling members of the church, both religious men, women, and young people still, and helping us to use the means of our trade today, which is like what we call the media, to reach out to people, to bring hope, to bring conversation cross board, so that there's no one left out, even when they are so far away. Using the trade, the means of trade, especially communication, social media, communication in terms of one-on-one, where people meet and so on. Back to you, Italy.
Yes, and another thing that Kenyan Catholics will remember the late Pope Francis was that he was very close, to the African Church, visiting the continent several times, visiting more than around 10 countries. And what do you think? You said you met the new Pope a few weeks ago. What do you think the African Church's relationship with the new Pope is likely to be?
Well, I guess the new Pope to have his own style, but basically he has already a foundation which he doesn't have to look for. The foundation that the church in many places is alive, is active. In Kenya, for example, he was here with us, Pope Francis, 2015. He was there in DRC, Congo, place where there's a challenge of war and so on. He was in Sudan. So already the community is alert to the Pope who visits, who is able to reach out. So we are glad that it is possible now. It is now the new Pope Leo XIV, as is going to be named, to pick up on already a very vibrant communities that are open and not only open as men and women, and also open as interfaith. He was for France, also reaching out to men in churches and religions of other faiths, Muslims, Protestants, Eastern Rite. So there is a way he can take advantage of this awakening through the synod of synodality and the visits the Pope made in many countries, say in Africa and beyond. He was a man never rested. So back to you. Thank you.
All right. Before I let you go, Askofu, just what is your view of just this transition period that we have seen since the time that Pope Francis died just 19 days ago? He was buried, and the conclave, the election has been quite swift. Did you expect white smoke as early as tonight?
Actually, you'll be surprised. We were just thinking about it this evening. I was dealing with some priests, some priests of an order who are praying and saying, this is going to be possibly faster for two reasons. Number one, many of these bishops, not all, the cardinals especially, the most were there cardinals, majority were in the synod of synodality meeting recently. So somehow or other, even myself, I met the current now for Leo XIV in our round table when we were discussing some of the things. So there's a sense of idea you've met, you have an idea of what kind of a person you're dealing with. So there's an advantage. I mean, when people never met, and then as they came back in the barrio, they had another, what you consider to be knowing each other father. Now, I think that's as important as help, humanly speaking. But also remember, the country has been praying not only for him dying, but also for the new Pope almost immediately dies, and the prayer kind of shifts to asking God to help us get a new Pope, a Pope who has a heart for people, a person who is ready towards our world, that is split into all kinds of issues, and especially peace. Peace is the big thing in our country, in our world today. So I believe that has helped quite a bit, and it should be able to make him aware and alert of the situation. Because we met people who came to give testimony to the Pope during the synod time about issues, about the problems in the countries we hear now, Yemen, countries like Israel and Gaza issues. People are able to give live testimony. So he's right, and he's ready. And I think that the world is also ready. The world is also ready to continue the peace legacy of the Pope Francis.
And Askofu, before I let you go, finally, what's your message to Kenyans and to Kenyan Catholics tonight?
Well, the Kenyan Catholics and from Jumla, I want to say we thank God for this, because we have also been praying immediately, and not only now. People have been asked, the churches have been open, the small chapels, or the adorations, rosary in the family. We've been asking people to take fruit in prayer, and also as families, as churches, as outstations. So we can say it's an answer to our prayer, but we don't finish it there. We continue to walk the life of prayer, because only that way we can support him. He needs a lot of support in terms of prayer and encouragement, because the world is divided very badly than ever before in many years. So we cannot say we have finished the job. The job continues. And
Thank you.
So all Kenyans, all world, let's get back to our knees to thank God and ask the support of our new Pope. Me and you counted it as maujaji wa matumaini, or pilgrims of hope. We are hopeful, and we can see it has just happened for all of us to not waste a lot of time and thinking who. And tendency is to begin to lose hope when it's not happening quickly. Yeah.
And Askofu, finally, before I let you go, Pope Francis is remembered as having, appointed a lot of cardinals. Do we expect more cardinals in the tenure of Pope Leo, or is it too early?
Well, that is yet to be seen. Yes, sit down and look at his what you call his workforce and the different aspects that he has to deal with, and therefore it is mandatory to think where he needs what kind of person. There are dioceses waiting.
Right.
There are cardinals waiting for dioceses that are countries that need other baby. So I guess he will have to sit down with his team again and say, where are we? What do we need? Like even in the context of family.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. We thank also you also people media for transmitting it live for all of us to watch and see and be able to join home while we're in Kenya. May God bless your work also as members of the fourth estate.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Archbishop Martin,
God bless your
Archbishop Martin Kivuva of the Archdiocese of Mombasa. They are coming to us, just giving us his thoughts following the election of Pope Leo XIV. And of course, we'll be giving you all the analysis that you need here on NTV. Let's take a quick commercial break. We are back with the news shortly.